Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be learning the laws of logic. There are two laws of logic, the law of detachment and the law of syllogism. The law of detachment is if the conditional statement is true and the hypothesis is true, then the conclusion is true as well. It's just saying if P, then Q. P, therefore Q. Let's do some practice problems. If an animal is a dog, then it has a tail. Reggie is an orange terrier. What can you conclude? Well, first we have to set up our problem. So, if D, then T. Reggie's an orange terrier, so Reggie's a dog, so we have D. If D, then T, D. Therefore, T. We can conclude that Reggie has a tail. I will walk to school, or I will drive to school. Alex does not walk to school. What can you conclude? Walk to school will be W, drive to school will be D. So I will walk to school or I will drive to school. And we know that Alex does not walk to school. So no walk. What can I conclude? Well, it's walking or driving. It's not walking. Therefore, has to be driving. So Alex drives to school. If it is raining, then the sidewalk is wet. The sidewalk is wet. What can you conclude? Well, if it is raining will be R, and the sidewalk is wet will be W. Then we have to set up our problem. So if it is raining, R, then the sidewalk is wet, W. We have that the sidewalk is wet, and now we have to see what we can conclude. The answer for this would be invalid. The sidewalk can be wet for many, many reasons. It could have snowed, or there might have been a sprinkler that went off. Doesn't necessarily mean that it rained. If we had that it rained, then our answer would be W. But for this, it's invalid. Now, let's move on to the law of syllogism. Given the two following statements are true, if P, then Q, if Q, then R, we can conclude if P, then R. This, in symbolic notation, would look like this. If P, arrow, Q, if P then Q. If Q then R would look like Q, arrow, R. Therefore, P, arrow, R. Let's practice. If you have chocolate chips, then you will bake Stacy cookies. If you bake Stacy cookies, then she will be happy. Now that we have our problem set up, what can we conclude? Well, therefore, C, H. So if C, then H. If you have chocolate chips, then Stacy will be happy. If you understand the law of syllogism, then you will do well on your test. If you do well on your test, then you will pass the quarter. What can you conclude? Well, for law of syllogism, we will use S. For doing well on your test, we will use T. And for passing the quarter, we will use P. So if you understand the law of syllogism, then you will do well on your test. If you do well on your test, then you will pass the quarter. Therefore, if S, then P. So if you understand the law of syllogism, then you will pass the quarter. Read the statements and answer the questions and determine which law is used. If no law works, write invalid. If an angle measures between 0 and 90 degrees, then it is acute. Angle A is 47 degrees. What can you conclude and what law is it? Well, we can conclude that angle A is acute since it's between 0 and 90 degrees. And this is the law of detachment. If you feed your bird, then it will be happy. If your bird is happy, then it will sing. What can you conclude and what law is it? Well, I can conclude that if you feed your bird, then it will sing. And this is the law of syllogism. If it is foggy, then it is cold. It is cold. What can I conclude? Well, this answer is going to be invalid. And there would be no law. Just because it is cold does not mean that it is foggy. It's saying if it is foggy, then it is cold. But all we have is it is cold. So it would not work. Therefore, our answer is invalid. Now we're going to do some practice. Using symbolic notation, state the conclusion and the law used. Alright, so if P, then Q. We have P. Our answer would be, therefore, Q. Since we have P, and it's if P, then Q, our law would be detachment. Next one says, if B, then not Q, then R. Our answer would be, therefore, B, then R. Therefore, if B, then R, and our law would be syllogism. Third one says, if Q, then R, and we have R. This would be invalid. Next one says, if not S, then not P. If not P, then R. If R, then T. Even though this is 3, our laws can still work here. And it would be, therefore, if not S, then T. And our law would be syllogism. Alright, the last one says B or N, not N. Therefore, our answer would be B. And this is the law of detachment. Alright, we just learned the laws of logic, the law of detachment, and the law of syllogism. I hope this helped. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll catch you later. Bye.